that God has a plan for your life? Did you know that He has a plan? Well, if you don't believe me, just listen to my story and I'll tell you how He's touched my life with His gracious hand. See, I was born in a Christian home, and He was never far from me until later on in life when I began to flee from Him and start drifting. I was searching and sifting, searching for things to fulfill me, looking at things I knew He wouldn't find uplifting. And I was searching for things to entertain and thrill me, but little did I know, at the end of the day, rob and kill me. And at the end of the day, I knew this was not fulfilling. It would only lift me up as high until I hit my own ceiling. I lost my heart and I felt like I lost all my feeling. I had so much pain, and the pain got stocked up so great, I couldn't find a way in dealing. I started cutting my wrists, and I was resisting His healing. Even though He was at the door, look, Nick, look what I have in store for you. It's so great. I knew what He had for me, what God had in store for me, at the door for me. I just was so afraid of what He'd see, all the things that I was adoring. I just never thought I would go and explore what He had for me. But let me say this. God had a plan in store. He kept on knocking, and His knock became harder to ignore. Thought, was this worth any of my time to explore? But God said, yes, Nick, bow down to me, your King, your Lord. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was driving in my car, and I had got back from a church, and I had driven really far. And I began to turn the radio on, and I heard this song that reminded me of God's love, and I began to sing along. And I heard God say, Nick, come back to me, my son. And when the song was done, I started to pray for forgiveness. My heart was won. And then He said, Nick, please know that a plan is a process. Go back to your church and fall down where the cross is.
So I went and I did what I was told to, and I went to my church and I prayed, and I felt a new peace run through my heart, my mind, with a freshness in my soul. And it was then that I knew that He had fixed my heart and made me whole. He said, Nick, your heart was filled with hate. You were angry and hurt. Let me introduce a new trait that will persuade your heart to reinvert. I have a plan for you. Remember that it is a process. The trait you need is love, Nick. That is what the cross is. Love me, love everyone that you know. Meet betrayal with grace. Love knows no sorrow. And forgive, Nick. Love keeps no record of wrong. It is not puffed up. Love is kind, and love suffers long. After I had prayed, I felt a fire inside. He had activated me. This faith was something I would no longer hide. I was baptized the next day, reanimated in a new life, a public profession of my faith that put an end to an old strife. You see, God has a plan, a process through which love activates a new life. He had one for me, and He has one for you. He's knocking at the door. Will you let Him through?